music teacher at an elementary school. I breathe, and it does make us feel better and it does calm us down because of something called our vagus nerve. And our vagus nerve goes from our brainstem, the top of our spine, all the way down our torso in a J shape and wraps around our diaphragm. So and diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. So when we breathe, our diaphragm moves. So when you are making your brain tell your body to breathe, it kind of massages the diaphragm. And the diaphragm senses that, and they're like, oh, we're okay. And so it sends that signal to your brain, we don't have to be in fight or flight right now. And that's what starts calming our nervous system down. So we're going to breathe a lot in this workshop, but I just wanted to give you that information. That's why a lot of this mindfulness, even spiritual practices of breathing, this is why it's important. It really does calm your nervous system. So a collective breath is just inhaling and exhaling and not judging your own breath and not going like, sometimes that's helpful. But maybe each breath is different. Maybe one breath is longer than the other or deeper than the other, and you're just letting your body do it, okay? So get comfortable, adjust yourself in your seat if you need to. And I like to start by exhaling. Exhale whatever's in, just let it out, and start fresh. And sometimes your body will go back to normal breathing on its own. And sometimes it wants more of that structured breathing. Breath is so important. Remember, God took earth and breathed on it. And that's how man was created, right? Breath is so important. And a few years ago, I think it was here at an assembly, someone mentioned the word Yahweh. When you say it and you breathe it, it's, like a constant prayer. Now, God also gave us sound. All matter vibrates, and those vibrations send waves into the air that we cannot see. Sometimes we can feel if it's loud enough or close enough. And they all make a sound. It's just that the human ear, we can only hear certain frequencies, right? But they all make sound. We just can only hear some of them. So sound doesn't just go into our ear. The sound waves wash over us and the water in our body, because we're 80-something% water. We vibrate too with the sound waves that are coming at us. Not to mention the sound waves we create with our own voices. So stay comfortable. You can keep breathing if you'd like, or just breathe normally. And you don't have to pray or think anything or say anything. You're just going to let the sound happen. I hope if you can't, I'll try to gauge if you can hear it or not. Thank you for sharing that with me. Don't forget how listening to music, and it doesn't have to be praise and worship music or even have words. You know, God gave us that gift of music. He gave us the ability to create beauty in those sounds. So you can show gratitude and awe just in the sounds you're hearing, or the birds chirping, or the wind blowing through the leaves of the tree, water rippling, waves crashing. Those are all gifts. Those are all part of God's creation that He gifted us to enjoy. So wellness is a general term that is kind of a catch-all for however your mental state, emotional state, your physical health, how that all kind of comes together for your overall well-being. And before the pandemic, wellness had its own niche. And people who were interested and were aware, they knew about wellness and practiced it. And then I would say during the pandemic, it became a necessity where it was everywhere. Everyone's talking about self-care and wellness. And it's good because it's not like all of a sudden the pandemic came and now we need it. It just shone a light on how important it is and how much we all do need it. And it's a practice, just like our spiritual lives. It's a practice. It won't ever be perfect. You know, and it will never be perfectly balanced either. Like, wow, my mind is clear and I'm feeling great and I'm physically healthy and it's all happening at the same time. That's rare. So don't think of it as a balance as equal. Think of it, I don't know, more of like a spectrum and all of those things. And so we just need to adjust as we go along. And I think an earlier example of mindfulness would be, you know, the old advice when you're angry, take a breath and count to 10. That's mindfulness. And now there's all sorts of things to help us become mindful. And just like there's spiritual practices that can help strengthen our connection to God, where we're feeling a relationship with our Creator. Some of those count as mindfulness, and there's lots of mindfulness exercises that count as spiritual practice because it will also strengthen that relationship. So, let's get going. I wanted to open with this prayer from the Book of Common Prayer, page 840. It's Thanksgivings for the Natural Order, and there's a prayer literally called For the Beauty of the Earth. Let us pray. We give you thanks, most gracious God, for the beauty of the earth and sky and sea, for the richness of mountains, plains, and rivers, for songs of birds and the loveliness of flowers. We praise you for these good gifts and pray that we may continue to grow in our grateful enjoyment of your abundant creation to the honor and glory of your name, now and forever. Amen. And I think this prayer kind of ties into what our previous speaker was talking about. So that's in the Book of Common Prayer, if you ever want to read it again. So let's talk about breathing, and I have a little exercise for us to do. So sometimes we can feel overwhelmed, obviously, right? Stress, worry, or just feeling unsettled. And so rather than holding on to that discomfort, instead of like staying nervous or staying stressed, we have the power to release that, not just from our mind, but from our body. Western science is finally catching up to some Eastern philosophy of our emotions, and stress kind of take hold in our physical selves, and breath is a good way to kind of get that energy moving. So, find another comfortable seat. If you need to fidget, go ahead, fidget. Reset yourself. Exhale your old air out. Inhaling. we're going to release physical sensations that aren't serving us. So notice now in your body, without judgment, without critique, notice any pains, discomfort, tension, or even numbness. Take a deep breath in, connect to that sensation, and exhale, setting it free. You can do it again, and release it. And one more time. Now emotions that are not helping us. You don't have to dig deep, just whatever floats up. Connect with these feelings and breathe into it. Connect the breath to that feeling. Set it free. Again. Letting them go. One last time. And now thoughts. What are we carrying in our heads? What thoughts are not helpful? Breathing in, breathe that thought. Let it out. Again. Last time. And let's seal this with 3 collective breaths. In. That exercise is called Breathe It Out. You could use it anytime, any place. We spent some time with it. You can spend more time with it. If there's something heavy going on, take all the time you need. Or quicker, like when you're in line at the grocery store. This next one is for our physical body. It's called Sundance. If you're familiar with any sort of yoga, it's related to sun salutation. We're going to do this seated, but if you could scoot your chair out so that you have some space. Okay, so you want your feet on the floor. If you're short like me, you might need to scoot to the edge of your seat and feet flat on the floor if as able. And before we do anything, this is not exercise class, so I don't want you exerting yourself. This is meant to feel good. So if you feel an uh-oh, stop, okay? And we need to honor our bodies. Everybody's mobility is different. Everyone's range of motion is different. We all have our own idiosyncrasies in our body. And I want you to honor what your body can do today, because we all know sometimes we can do things some days and other days it's not happening. So honor what your body can do for you today, because we are God's creation too, and He gave us bodies to live in. So it's a way to move your body. Not only are you moving your musculoskeletal, your muscles, but there's lots of fluids. Your lymphatic system can get stagnant. We need to move to get everything moving, and that helps, what's that called? Like chi, yes, chi, chakras, all those things. But also just it'll come to me later. Like your systems, your body systems are all processing and moving. Yes, all those things. Okay, so feet on the floor. And make yourself tall, upright as much as you can, and this will be different for everyone. Imagine, there's you're a marionette and there's a string on your head. We're getting closer to heaven. Rolling your shoulders up and back and down, connecting your shoulder blades back down into your back. Your arms are at your side. You're going to reach down, out, and up in an arc. And some of you can reach above your head. Some of you, it may be closer in front of your face. Putting your palms together if it reaches. Otherwise, just wherever it can make it. Bringing your hands back down to your center. Now we're going to do that with a breath. Same thing. Hands down, but inhaling all the way up. Inhaling up. Together. And exhale back down. Good. A second time. Actively reach out. And actively pull down. Using the palms of your hands, walk yourself down your thighs. For some of you, you might just stop here. For others, continue to walk until you're bent. You can let your head hang if your neck allows. And relax that upper body, your shoulders, your neck. For some of you, you may be able to reach more, letting gravity do work. Otherwise, use your hands to kind of brace yourself. Take a cleansing breath. And walk yourself back up to upright. So we're going to put that together. The inhale up, exhale down. Work your way back down. Take a breath. Come back up. Okay? So exhale out. Inhaling. Inhale is needed. Take a breath. On your inhale, work your way back up. And in this time, you can fix your shoulders. If your neck is craving some mobility. And don't forget to turn your head to one side, too. Sometimes we forget that motion. Looking forward, you can outstretch your hands, splaying your fingers wide. And then rotate them in towards each other. Your forearms can stretch. Breathe. And then rotate them the opposite way. Range of motion will be different. Some of you might have a lot and you can go all the way around. Some of you may stop at some point. Breathe. And rotate back to neutral. Relax them a little. Wrist rolls if it allows. Sometimes with wrists, they don't want to work. Opposite way too. Whatever you do one way, try the other way as well. Now just your fingers. Gently shake it out. Okay. Because you guys are doing so good and I see the kinds of chairs we have. Brace yourself on one side of the chair with your hand. You don't want to lean, just kind of like hold it so you know it's there. Bringing yourself back up tall. Reach one hand, doesn't matter which, reach it up. So you're not just lifting it, you're also like actually reaching, like you're trying to get something on the top of the shelf. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, dip over a little bit. And you can use that arm on your chair to kind of hold yourself up so that you're not going to tip. Inhale and exhale. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Exact same thing, other side. Inhaling up. Exhale over. Take a full breath cycle. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Take your right hand, put it on your left lap. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And see if you can turn towards that left leg. It doesn't have to be a lot, like we don't have to make a pretzel, just kind of turn. Take a breath. See if you can relax your shoulders down, and it may allow your neck to go just a little more. Inhale and exhale. And release, unwind. Same thing, bringing your back up tall. Hand goes across to your other lap. Exhale, a little turn. Relax the shoulders down. Inhale again. Exhale, unwind. You can make any stretch or any physical therapy or occupational therapy or little exercise. You can make any of those mindful by doing it mindfully. And also, whenever you are moving your body or doing just a morning stretch or whatever, be sure to breathe. Don't hold your breath during the stretch. Breathe into it. Your body needs the oxygen for the muscles to do it, but also remember that nervous system. We want to calm ourselves down. So, with God giving us these bodies and in His image, we have to remember to move the bodies. And the movement can be gentle and easy and slow. And just a little bit. A little bit will go a long way. But don't forget to use your body when we're trying to take care of ourselves. Take care of your body. I know, easier said than done, I know. Okay, so for this next one, we're going to talk just a little bit, but it is not story time. This is active listening. So I'm going to give you a prompt. You're going to think about it, come up with your answer. If you want to, you can share, but you do not have to. If you don't want to share, don't share. No one's going to make you. But it's not story time, so we don't need your whole life story. We just need the answer. And for others, I'm this way. You know, someone mentions something, and then I get excited. I'm like, oh, yeah, me too. And then I tell my story too, right? So this is not that. You're just sharing your answer, and that's all we need to do. We're going to think. So this is visualization. We're going to think about where we see God in nature, or maybe where we feel God in nature. Where do you feel closest to the divine in God's creation? And then why? Can you come up with like a sentence of a description? Why do you think you feel God at that place? What is it about it that makes you think of God? Okay. So at your tables, just turn and talk one at a time. You can take turns. It doesn't have to be organized. You have 3 minutes for your table to share. 10 seconds. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Did everyone finish? Was that enough time or no? Not quite. Okay. All right. I'm kind of sad I'm not at a table. I should have gone out. I wanted to hear everybody's answers. Let's do a show of hands. How many people said like a garden? What about forests? Bodies of water? Mountains? Something like your own backyard, your park, something like that. Was there something I didn't mention? Oh, sunsets, birds, flowers, woods, yes. Chickens. So, speaking of flowers, this is something called a mudra. In Eastern cultures, mudras are hand shapes, and the hand shapes are kind of done meditatively, and to those cultures, it can represent something specific, like a symbol for something. But physiologically, when we bring our hands together, it helps our hemispheres, our brain hemispheres connect. And so it's like a little bit of brain power. It helps neurologically. And isn't that amazing that like different movements and different skin-to-skin connection or crossing our midlines does things to our brain that, I mean, isn't that amazing? It's talking about awe of God's creation. So we're going to make a flower. You're going to bring the heels of your hands together. For some of you, maybe your whole arm can. Others, maybe just the edges, just whatever you're comfortable with. So feel the skin to skin, that the heels of your hands touching, and just notice that sensation for a second. Bring your thumbs together, and at whatever point they touch is fine. It's fine. And your pinkies together. Notice that sensation. Let the other fingers just open however is comfortable. The shape is not as important as the touching. You don't have to hold your arms up. You can kind of let them sink. Again, whatever's comfortable. Now I want you to gaze at your hands, and I want you to imagine a flower. It can be whatever you want, your favorite flower, or you can make it up. You can design it yourself. Maybe the flower is purple. And you're going to grow that flower, keeping that skin connected. Grow it, inhaling. And as you exhale, close it. It's going to sleep for the night. I know you know some flowers do that, right? They close up in the moonlight. And breathe with it. You're going to breathe it open. And exhale it closed. Now we're going to grow it. As you inhale and open, we're going to lift it a little closer to the sun. And let it rest. Letting it rest. Growing it. Letting it rest. One last time, grow it. And let it rest. Now we're going to make a community garden. With the people beside you, turn your hands to them. And even if you can just connect to the one person next to you, that's okay. If you want to make a big circle, you can. Just the heel of the hand. Well, you guys are real far apart. Thumbs, pinkies, and grow it. Inhale. And exhale, let it rest. Do it 2 more times. Open it. And exhale. Last time, grow that flower. Okay, and you can let it go. Bring your flower back to you. Put it down gently. Thank the flower. That's a fun one to do with kids. If you have kids in your life, that's a fun one to do. Okay, thank you for that. That's based on mudras, but again, that neurological aspect of engaging our nervous system, different skin-to-skin contact like that, and bringing in the breath. Anyone can make a shape and be like, I'm holding a flower. But intentionally, intentionally add that breath, add that visualization, and that helps give rest to the mind. Okay, thankful thoughts, this is called. So, in the spirit of gratitude, we're going to give gratitude for a few things. So if you have to readjust in your seat, scratch that itch. Let's exhale our old air out. Take a cleansing breath. Now just breathe normally. I want you to think about your body. Everything it's done for you. You walk, you lay, maybe some of you have delivered another human. Maybe not. You've loved, you've touched, you've served, you've helped with your body, your hands. Say to your body a silent thank you. Bring to mind your brain all of the things your mind has done for you. You've been educated, you've learned, you've worked, you've given advice, you've heeded advice, you've sorted things out, you've planned things. Say to yourself, I am grateful for my mind. Now breathe into your heart. Relax into it. Your heart is kind and loving. It helps care for yourself and others. Say to yourself, I am grateful for my heart. Think about that favorite part of nature for you. Think about its beauty, its majesty. Say to yourself, I'm grateful for God's creation. Now think about your soul. Find it in your core. Relax into it. Your personal connection to the divine. Our Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Say to yourself, I am in Him as He is in me. Now think about a loved one. Think about that person. Their face is smiling at you. You are smiling back. You're together in happy times. Say to them, I am grateful for you. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes and fingers. Take a breath. When you're ready, you may open your gaze. We all know, and even mainstream knows, the secular world knows now how important gratitude is. We've always known, but now everybody knows. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be our prayer book prayers. It doesn't have to be prayers of the people. It doesn't have to be the list of things, list your blessings in your journal every night. Think about it, sit with it. Things will come up to give gratitude, real gratitude for, from your being. Lastly, we're going to close with a 2-word check-in. That's what it is, a 2-word check-in. So I want you to take a few seconds, get in touch with what you're feeling. How do you feel? Now that can include emotion, thoughts, the spirit, or your body. How are you feeling? If nothing comes, nothing comes. Don't force it. Don't make it difficult to pick if more than 2 come up. Keep it simple. And when you're ready, just like before, you can share with your table, or you don't have to. 2 words, ladies. 2 words. Go ahead when you're ready. It changes. I do K through 5, but it changes a little bit based on their age, but yeah. You're welcome. Good. So I hope you all had a chance to share your 2 words. I hope you enjoyed it. This 45 minutes was for you, your own self-care. I did get a bag. Would you like another? No, thank you.
Okay, all right.
They're beautiful.
On the bag.
I have one.
Okay, so what we have